we're going to do a whole lot of different things to make this geocache type thing. You can see the screws and everything. Anyway, so we're going to start off by creating a new sketch on this work plane here. And we're going to start with a circle that we're going to make 33 millimeters in diameter. So just hit return to accept that dimension. And we are going to extrude that rectangle, that circle, 16 millimeters. Then going to put a chamfer on the top, just like that. Just make it 3. And then we're going to put a thread on there. So click on create, go down to thread, and we're going to just click on that cylinder there. And it's very important. You can see that right now that it's not actually modeling the thread. So we have to select modeled there. Now, we're going to move the thread behind the chamfer in the timeline. You can see down here in the timeline, we've got the first sketch. Then we've got the extrude. We should name that sketch, actually. We'll solve this lower body. Okay, and actually this is going to be the bottom screw. So always name your sketches and your bodies. So next we are going to actually use a different tool. We're going to use a cylinder tool, and we're going to put that on that original work plane that we started with. You can see that it's going to snap to there, and we're going to make this, let's just make it 25, and we're going to drag it all the way up there, and it will cut that hole. So there is a new use for a cylinder. And next we're going to do another cylinder as well. So we're just going to go down, take a cylinder. I'm going to put it on that one again. I realize I might have done that quite fast, but we're going to make that 40 and hit return. And then we're going to drag this down -8. And it was selected join there anyway. So it might have had to go +8, -8. Anyway, the main thing is that we've got this thread at the top there, and we've got the base bit below. We're just going to drag, actually, I meant to do this earlier, but I forgot because I started naming things. I'm going to drag that thread the other side of the chamfer, because at the moment you can see we've got a chamfer. There's no way that a screw could actually go on there. So we're just going to move that to the left there. And now you can see the angle allows it to feed into the other thread, but it can actually get through the chamfer now. So if we make this the exact same size as the thread on the top half, then it'll be very hard for them to go together. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an offset face. So under the modified option there, whoops, I've just accidentally clicked on combine there. We're going to select offset face, and then there's 4 faces we want. There's that one on the end, and then the one below. Don't worry about those, that's okay. And we're going to make it -0.25. And that means that on the other one, we don't have to do anything, and they should just slot together. Now, if this is going to screw into something, we'd like to have it have a bit of a grip on it, and we're going to put what we call in engineering a knurl. So we are going to go up here to create, and we're going to select a coil. Now this time we're going to select the bottom face there, and we're going to select that bottom circle. So as I'm rotating here, just holding down shift and using 2 fingers all the time, and you see we snap to that center, and then we want a 40 millimeter. Now I've been playing about with these, so my settings will be different from yours, but don't worry. What we're going to do is we're just going to punch in these numbers that I'm going to give you here. So this is going to be 40. We're going to leave that as 40. The revolutions, we're going to make it 0.1. Okay, height is going to be -10. You see we're beginning to get a little bit more. Well, you'll see in a second once I finish this. We're going to make sure it's on triangular. Well, don't touch the degrees. We want that as 0. We want triangular internal, and we want on the inside, and we want that section size to be 1. And you can see here, we've got a cut into that surface. But we want one going the other way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mirror, and it's going to be a feature. Yours will probably be on bodies or something else, but go to features. Then in the timeline, we can just click on this as the object. The mirror plane, we want to be, you can see the mirror planes, it's giving us these origins. We want it to be that one there. And you can see that we've now got 2 cuts. Next thing we're going to do is go over here to pattern. We're going to go to circular pattern. And this time for features, we're going to just click on the mirror and the original in the browser. Okay. Then click on axis. And if we just click on that circle or any of the circles, I mean, the axis really is going to be that center there, but we can also just click on there. And the sizes, actually, I noticed that when we get above 25, doesn't really seem to make much difference. Oh, no, it does. You can pick. That's quite nice. 30, I think, maybe. The more you have, oh, that's maybe a bit much, actually. But you can choose what you want. Edit circular pattern. I think I might. What does 20 look like? It's up to you. I think I might just go with 25. That's what I had before. And there we go. Now, all of these things in the timeline are quite useful to have, but what we're going to do is just click on the first one, hold down Shift and move all the way back to the end, and then secondary click, and we're going to create a group just to keep the timeline nice and clean, and we can expand that or reduce it. Now we're going to move on to do the top part now. So let's just turn off the bottom screw, and we're going to create a new drawing, and this time I'll show you, look, we're going to make the top part. So it's going to be quite nice to draw them in situ. So I'm just going to click on that face there, turn off the bottom screw, and now we can start drawing those parts. So I'm going to take a line tool, and from the center, I'm just going to come across, and we're going to start drawing in this sort of rough shape. If I move down here, I'm not clicking on that, but as I move up, you can see that it's sort of tracing to that origin point. Anyway, don't worry, because we can get it right after we've drawn it. And there. Okay, oops. And there. Okay, so actually made that a little bit crooked. So what I want to do right now is just select that and make it horizontal. And then I'm also going to select that point there. So I'm using this horizontal vertical constraint to make sure that that center there is lined up here. See, it's just added that constraint there. And I'm also going to select that line to there to make sure that it's horizontal vertical. Oh, it's already constrained that way anyway. So we're going to take the dimension tool now, and I'm going to dimension that line to the inside. Now it was 33 before, so we need to do 33 divided by 2, but you'll all know that's 16.5. Then that line there, we want that to the center point, and we want that to be 20. So that'll match up with the 40 we made earlier. See, that's now definitely off, so I'm going to try and do that again. Hopefully it'll let me. Horizontal, vertical. Why is that not letting me constrain that? So I'll take that point and we'll try that point to there. There we go. So it's now in the correct place. I think I've got this way too large. Let's just check the size here. 27. I wanted that to be 35, so it's actually smaller than needed. That dimension there, needs to be 3. And I'm just going to drag that up a bit. Oh, that's a bit crazy. Sorry, a bit weird. Let's take that. Okay, what's going on there? See, it's annoying when these things sort of happen. Let's just drag that in like so. There we go. See, those funny things do happen when I'm doing it. It's just because it's just doing the maths that I've actually plugged into it. So that was how I made it. So this dimension is meant to be 5. And then we want the parallel constraint to be used between there and there. And then that is the top. So, excuse me, I'm just going to finish that sketch. And we're going to use the revolve tool now to select the first thing we're going to do is select the profile. Oops. Okay, it automatically does that for you. And then the axis is going to be that center there. And we want to just have a round on the top, or a fillet, as we call it. And we're going to select that edge and that edge, and we're just going to give that a size of 3, just to make it look a little bit smoother. These are often hung, these things. Well, actually, before we hang that, let's make the thread. So we're going to put a chamfer on the bottom again, just so that they go together easier. Make that 2 this time. Then we're going to drag in from the create. We're going to use this thread again, put that on the inside. Make sure you select the modeled option there, and then click OK. And again, we're going to drag that the other side of the chamfer. The chamfer is there to allow it to slot on easier, and then moving it the other side. If we tried to chamfer it after we've done the thread, it wouldn't allow us. But it's just a much smoother assembly once you 3D printed these. Okay, so we're going to do the handle now. So taking a new sketch, and we're actually going to click on that work plane there. If I did that too fast, I apologize. What's that? That is the body, and then this is the hanger. It's always good to name all of your sketches. By the way, that padlock means that that's a fully constrained sketch. That means that if I turn it on, I can't accidentally drag things off, because if I not fully constrained a sketch, so if I just draw the next parts, just roughly just now before I dimension everything. You see, that's not a fully constrained sketch. I will fully constrain it, but what can happen is I can accidentally drag things around and move them, and that can be a pain in the neck, because whatever I've done with that sketch will automatically update. Okay, so we're using the dimension tool. Oops, didn't want that dimension. So I'll just press escape on my keyboard, and then I'm going to go back to dimension again. Just so you know, I would always just press D for dimension. And as you get more comfortable using Fusion, you really should start using the keyboard as much as you can. So that size there is meant to be 4.5. Let's zoom in closer here. I want the distance from this line to that other vertical line, and that is going to be 4. I want to constrain this vertical line. Oops. So that's the problem. I can't do lines like that, but what I can do is points. So that point and that point are locked in vertically. That's going to help me fully constrain this sketch. And that dimension there to there, need to be back on dimension. That line there to that line there is 6. And this size here is 10. Oh, don't like that. Need to put an angle on there. That angle there should be 65. And then that distance there to there should be 4. And let's just see, why is that not fully constrained? So the last thing I need to do is make that parallel to there. And now you can see it's fully constrained, so I cannot move that at all. Okay, we need two of them though, so I'm going to select the mirror option. That first line was already selected. I'll just take it all by dragging a box around it all, and then mirror. Oh, I deselected that first line that was originally selected. So there we go. Now that's in the middle, you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish that sketch, and we're going to click on extrude, and I want to select both halves, and we're going to go with it being symmetrical. So you don't just want to add it on one side. So we're going to do the distance is going to be the whole length, and we want it 6 to be the size. So change that and make it 6. It will want to cut it, so we're just going to change that to joined. That's quite handy to see here. Look, you can see the bottom there, so we know that what I've just drawn is not going to stick into the inside here. You won't see it. You won't have a rough underside. So we're going to change that to join. Now look what happens if I do half length. It makes it really big. So I mean, I could have just done it full length and made that 3, but I'm just wanting you to understand the different options you have. Okay. So let me click join. That's a bit rough though, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a fillet option. We're going to select the whole face. Normally we just fillet lines, but again, as we're seeing different features and functions and hopefully beginning to think how you might use this in your product design. But we're just going to give that a size of 0.75 just to take the edge off. And there you go. There is your geocache. And yeah, good luck with that. If you need to pause my video, of course, pause it, rewind it, and just watch carefully. Good luck.